Politics. As the 2027 general elections approach, the African Democratic Congress ADC is making early moves to define its policy direction. The party has announced a 15-member committee to formulate its manifesto, with former APC National Chairman Chief John Odigoyegu appointed to lead the group. To discuss what this means for the party and its roadmap to 2027, we're joined by Saidu Abubakar, an ADC chieftain from Kebbi State. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Abubakar. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me once again.
Thank you very much. I mean, as of early 2026, I remember INEC, announced, recognizes 18 fully registered political parties in Nigeria. And every election cycle, every political party would always try to win the hearts of Nigerians with their promises. They talk about mandate. And in some cases, the party's ideology just, ordinarily resonates with some Nigerians. This also means that Nigerians have seen many manifesto committees come and go with little impact. Why should this one be taken seriously?
Okay, I would like to begin by saying this is a right step in the right direction. ADC at least is showing Nigerians that this is what we can do, this is what we can offer, and then it's bringing in experts, from various fields, with the former APC chairman, as you rightly mentioned, Chief Oyogun, a seasoned, administrator, a politician, a one-time governor, and somebody who even led the current APC to victory in 2015. With also Professor Pat Otomi, who is a professor of political economy and management expert. And so many people, about 50 people on the committee. Now, what we are saying here is at least ADC is trying to tell Nigerians that this is, we are trying to diagnose the problems we have in this country before we can offer you, the medicine that will cure the sickness we have in this country. And then I can assure you that Nigerians will see a practical, a coherent, a clear manifesto like the one we have never seen before. Reason being that what we have in place, we have a government that came to office with no clear manifesto, a government that went ahead to remove the fuel subsidy without looking into the transition mechanisms to cushion the effect of this, fuel subsidy removal. And then with a government that lacks, a sense of policy direction. So what ADC is trying to do, in a nutshell, is trying to study the country, look at the problems we have in this country, provide a solution that will, solve the whole problems we have from education, healthcare, human and capital development, all aspects of life. And then I believe Nigerians have seen a lot of manifestos come and go, but then I can tell you this one is going to be different in the sense that the ADC is starting in a good time. The ADC is more focused about, the people, of Nigeria more than the issue of who wants the ticket or who becomes the vice president, whether Muslim or Christians or whatever, because what ADC is trying to do, they're going to have, we are trying to bring out a solution to the problems. Irrespective of who clinched the ticket of the party, you have a clear sense of direction about what Nigerians want and how to go about it.
Mm. A former APC National Chairman, Chief John Odigoyegu, is heading this committee. Why was he considered the right fit for this role? This is someone, a politician who has been part of Nigeria's political elite for decades. How is this not a case of old actors repackaging old ideas? And you just said the ADC is studying Nigerian problems, when in fact, these problems have always been there. So what makes it different?
Well, to begin with, Chief Oyogun, you've mentioned he has been there, yes, but what is the record? The records are there, his track records are there. What has he done? He has done a lot of things, and then he is a statesman in his own right. And then I believe even if I myself is agitating for youth inclusion or youth to be given opportunity to participate, but we need the experience of these old people. They have the experience, they have what it takes. So now we are saying, let them sit down, analyze the problems. We know the problems have been in existence, all through, but then there are some dynamics, it change, on daily basis. So now we are saying, let them sit down, look at this Nigeria as a whole, look at this issue, come out with a solution, and therefore ADC can have a working document which will serve as a guide for anybody that is coming to clinch the ticket of the ADC, and then eventually become the president of this country by 2027.
You talked about experience, which the ADC can actually get without these, some of those politicians, known old politicians, being at the front line. I mean, what exactly makes the ADC different from the APC? And I'm asking this question also because some Nigerians associate him strongly with the APC era. And you know how skeptical Nigerians are when politicians move across parties. How will your party then convince citizens that a man like him, who is the former national chairman of the APC, is committed to the party's ideology and not just some political convenience?
I agree with you. Many Nigerians are with the APC. That is why some are even moving out of the APC to ADC. I'm not saying APC has not failed, but as much as APC has failed in this country, the APC of today, the current administration, has failed more than the previous, APC-led government, and that's the truth. And John Egun, as a party chairman, he did what he could. He delivered the party to victory in 2015, and then we saw how he managed the party crisis until the same people that are in power today, did what they could, to get him out of the place. That was what happened, not because he's not competent, not because he cannot do it. So he has done it in the past, and he's going to do it again and again if given the opportunity. So that's what ADC is doing. We are giving him the opportunity to sit with this, group of experts, from academics, technocrats, former public office holders, and people from, all, walks of, experience coming together to say, look at, let us analyze the issues at hand, let us diagnose the issues, let us provide solutions and how these issues can be dealt with. And that's the most important thing. Until when this work is done, because they are given a mandate by the national chairman of the party, and I strongly believe the choice of joining Oyegun and Pat Otomi is a very good one. It's a good combination, from the political, point of view to the, economic and management aspect. They have the experience, they have what it takes. So they will come together, they have the mandate, they will develop the manifesto, and we present this manifesto to Nigerians. So it is for Nigerians to decide whether the manifesto is about it's going to, meet their expectations or solve the problems we have at hand. So it's not, we cannot just rule out that whatever is coming from them is not something that Nigerians will accept. So we wait until they produce this manifesto, you go through it, and I believe all Nigerians will go through it and see what they are saying, that the ADC as a party, not Oyegun as individual, is going to offer Nigerians.
But this 50-member committee has been generating controversy. Some women have outrightly called out the leadership of your party. I'm talking about Remi Shonaya and Yemi Adamalekun, who found their names on that list without their consent and buy-in. What was that about? Some say this is ADC displaying some sort of confusion, disorganization. Or is this a mistake, Mr. Abubakar?
Is there any formal statement from them?
Is that what?
Is there any formal statement from them? They are associating themselves from the committee?
Their names are on that list, and they have come out to say they do not know about the list and they do not align with the ADC. I mean, it just looks like, for instance, if you see that, if you just look at me and say, oh, I do not like this administration, I'm not a fan of this administration, tomorrow I can just find my name on that list. Is that what it is?
Because, look, I want you to understand something. When you talk about the list of this committee, to be honest with you, I haven't heard about anyone coming out to say he or she, has seen his or her name that is not supposed to be there. But the point I'm making here, I even if they come out to say they are not being, contacted before their names, appear on the list, maybe it's a normal thing. What we are saying.
Do you call that a normal thing? Can you hold on, Mr. Abubakar? How do you call that normal? I mean, people have come out to, if you say you've not heard that two women, I'm giving you their names now, Remi Shonaya, can you hold on, sir, and Yemi Adamalekun have queried the decency of the ADC for just finding their names on a list they know nothing about. And you say that is normal?
I'm coming. You said something that I'm calling normal, not what they said. They are entitled to their own opinion, and nobody should put someone's name in anything before, without consulting the person. What I'm saying is normal is the fact that maybe I know we share similar opinion about how Nigeria is being governed, and we all have problems with the way things are going, and maybe I have an initiative that I feel like you can contribute so much, and I'm inviting you to come over. Let's talk about this. Let's look at these issues. You don't have to be a member of the ADC before you can contribute to the, to formulation or formation of a manifesto that will make things better for this country. And if they feel they shouldn't be on the list, I am speaking as a supporter of the ADC, as a member of the ADC, but not as one of the leadership of the ADC who formed the list. So if you want to, you can redirect your question maybe to the ADC national leadership. Thank you.
Okay, so what is the composition of that list? What exactly is that list about? Because, personally, I believe that a manifesto is not a sterile policy document. It's a declaration of a party's soul. When you say that you don't have to be a member of the ADC before you contribute to the policy document of a party that says it has intention of saving Nigeria from the ruling party, when even well-meaning ones, well-meaning individuals usually lack this ideological thought process required to translate party values into policy. So when you say non-members, you look at non-members who can afford to be experimental, because truly they do not have to defend the policies anywhere or face the voters' wrath during campaigns or when the party fails on these promises. So why is the ADC having non-members as part of the drafting committee? I'm asking about the composition of that list.
You see, this is where maybe some people are getting it wrong. ADC is a coalition. Many people that are calling themselves, part of the ADC, some have not even registered fully with the ADC. But we understand in this country, a lot of political parties, a lot of political leading figures have come together to say we need to form a coalition. And, talks are still ongoing. You and I may sit today, discuss about, possibility of working with the ADC before you even register with the ADC. A lot of people that are working for the ADC from national to states, and I'm saying this, unapologetically, have not even yet registered with the party. But because they are part of the transition committee or a coalition of political parties coming together to form the ADC. So when you talk about, the people that are not members of the ADC, as far as we are concerned right now, a lot of people are claiming to be with the ADC that have not yet registered with the ADC because it's still in the incubation, it's still in the process, it's still, ongoing. So if for any reason someone finds his or her name on the list that he's not ready to align with the ADC, I think the person can come forward, and then I believe the party will take it, off. We have a lot of people that are even wishing to be on the list that are not on the list. Like my humble self, if I'm to be on the list, I would appreciate it, So I'm only saying that many people that are aligning with the ADC today in Nigeria are not yet to even register with the party, because it's a coalition. It's only few people that have picked up their membership, and then until when the membership drive begins, that's when we will going to see the actual people that are going to stay, because we know some people are already there. They have been part of the formation only to get some information. Some are even months, so that they can hijack or they can frustrate the process. But I can tell you categorically, nobody. Why was your name not in the list? Why was your name not on the list? Nobody will be, nobody will find his or her name on the list if that person has had nothing in any way to do with the ADC. So maybe they have changed their mind, they want to go back somewhere else, or they want to stay where they are, and that's fine. Let them communicate to the APC national leadership, and I'm sure they will take them out.
All right. Let's move away from that. Something recent happened where the former vice president had dismissed the APC administration as the worst he has witnessed in nearly 4 decades. He also compared this administration that of military rule. But comparing a civilian government to military dictatorship is a very serious allegation. I hope you know that. And in the last 12 hours, Nigerians have argued that such statements by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar are more rhetoric than reality. You begin to ask yourself, how does ADC then balance the need for critique with the risk of hyperbole that could destabilize public perception? And for a leader that has occupied the second highest office of the land, he should understand that such comparisons could in every way available, emboldened anti-democratic forces. And critics are also saying that during his tenure as vice president and his time in public office, issues like corruption, economic mismanagement persisted. I'm asking you, Mr. Abubakar, can someone with that record genuinely claim moral high ground when criticizing a current administration?
Okay, I strongly support, the statement by Atiku Abubakar, and I will explain why. As when you talk about military government and civilian rule, what differentiates, these two forms of government is clearly the rule of law. This rule of law that we're talking about, I as a young person, I have never seen a government that, have no regard for rule of law like what we have today in this country. I will begin by saying it's the same government that we saw what happened in River State. We saw the whole process was, truncated, and the elected governor was suspended for 6 months with no regard to the call by NBA and all, legal interpretation of
but
the
as
issues.
a Democrat, Mr. Abubakar, as a Democrat,
allow me to,
would you caution former leaders, kindly hold on, would you caution former leaders against making sweeping comparisons that may inflame tensions?
When you have a valid reason to make such comparisons, I see nothing wrong with it. But I'm not in support of going to extra mile. But I believe what the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is saying. I'm trying to give you the reasons that I myself can say that. This is
very confusing, Mr. Abubakar. In one breath, you're saying, oh, he has a valid reason to say that. In another breath, you're saying you do not support some of those extreme statements he had made. The APC, the presidency just said, this is a man who has also contested multiple elections and lost severally. And some of his critics have sometimes also accused him of prioritizing political ambition over strengthening democratic institutions. For you, and because you said tonight that you're a Democrat, does that history weaken his argument that this administration resembles a military-style regime?
Before I answer, I would like you to please listen to me clearly. I honestly don't enjoy the way you keep on interrupting me when I'm making a point.
We're out of time. We're almost out of time. So please, kindly go ahead.
Let me tell you something. I myself, I agree with the statement of Atiku Abubakar because what leading figure of the ADC, not as a presidential candidate of the ADC. And then moving to, I'm coming, please allow me. And then moving to, I'm coming, please allow me. Coming to his son, his son that shows clearly Atiku Abubakar. His son that shows clearly Atiku Abubakar.
Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs. And have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeats broadcast of this episode. TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeats broadcast of this episode at